All right, check out this title. How to Become a God. I mean, it sounds completely like something out of ancient mythology, doesn't it? But what if it's not? What if it's actually a roadmap? That's what we're going to dig into today, this absolutely wild idea, this potential path for humanity to reach a level of power that, for all intents and purposes, is godlike.
But why? I mean, why would we even want to go on a journey like that? It's not about power trips or, cosmic conquest. No, the real reason, the core motivation, is actually something way more profound and simple. It's survival. It's about making sure that this faint flame of life doesn't just get snuffed out in the darkness of space. It's about making it last.
Okay, so if survival is the why, what's the how, right? How does a species like ours, stuck on one little blue marble, actually achieve something like cosmic immortality? Well, it's not going to be one single magic invention. It's more like a ladder of evolution.
And that ladder, it actually has a name. It's called the Kardashev Scale. It was thought up by an astrophysicist named Nikolai Kardashev, and it's this brilliant way of measuring how advanced a civilization is. But here's the cool part. It's not based on art or philosophy or anything like that. It's based on the one thing that really matters on a cosmic scale: energy. So the idea is super simple, really. The more energy you can control, the higher up the ladder you are. It's basically the ultimate power level system, And the universe itself is the final boss. And where are we on this scale? Well, we're not even a type 1 yet. Scientists estimate we're somewhere around a type 0.7. So yeah, we've got a ways to go. Let's break down how this whole thing works. The scale is basically split into 3 main types, and each step up isn't just a small bump. We're talking about a leap in power so big it's almost impossible to wrap your head around. These are total, fundamental transformations of what it even means to be a civilization. So, the first big rung on that ladder is becoming a Type 1 civilization. This is the stage of basically planetary mastery. It's the point where we stop just living on Earth and start becoming its true caretakers, its architects, its engineers. But what does that really mean in practice? Well, a Type 1 civilization can harness all the energy available on its home planet. And I don't just mean the fossil fuels we're using now. I mean everything. Every single bit of sunlight that hits the surface, all the wind, the power of the oceans, even the heat from the planet's core. And with that kind of power, just think about it. A Type 1 civilization could literally control the weather, end droughts, steer hurricanes away from cities. It's mind-blowing. But then you have to think. Imagine the kind of global cooperation you'd need for that. Becoming Type 1 isn't just about the tech. It's a huge political and social challenge too. Okay, so if Type I is mastering a planet, Type 2 is a whole other level. Seriously, this isn't just the next step, it's a massive leap. This is where a civilization basically moves out of its planetary home and learns to control its own star. So a Type 2 civilization uses energy on the scale of its entire sun. It's not just using that tiny sliver of sunlight that happens to hit our planet. No, it's capturing and using the star's total energy output. Everything. And this really shows you the insane difference in scale. Just think about all the sunlight that hits Earth. Now, imagine capturing all of it. Plus, all the light and energy that just flies off into empty space in every other direction. That's the kind of power we're talking about with Type 2. And with that much power, you could build things straight out of science fiction, like a Dyson sphere. You know, that idea of a giant shell built completely around a star to capture every last drop of its energy. You could literally move planets around your solar system, maybe to better orbits. You'd be the complete master of your entire solar system. And that brings us to the final stage, the one that's almost impossible to even imagine, Type 3. This is where a civilization goes beyond its own solar system and becomes galactic. This is the ultimate level up. A Type 3 civilization controls energy on the scale of an entire galaxy. We're not talking about one star anymore. We're talking about the power of billions of stars. They could tap into the energy of the supermassive black hole at the galactic center, or just harness the power from all the star systems they've spread to. Yeah, this chart really drives it home. Each step up, it's a factor of 10 billion. The power of a Type 2 civilization makes a Type 1 look like a tiny little battery. And then a Type 3 makes a Type 2 look just as small. The numbers are just staggering. It's pure exponential growth. So what could you even do with that kind of power? Well, you could colonize the entire galaxy. Easy. At this point, the whole idea of a single species probably wouldn't even apply anymore. You might be talking about a whole collective of beings, Some biological, some digital, maybe something else we can't even dream of, all spread across the stars. They'd be, for all intents and purposes, immortal. And that brings us full circle, right back to the beginning. This whole incredible journey, from mastering a planet to becoming galactic gods, it was never about just grabbing power. It's all about making sure that faint flame of life gets to keep burning, not just for a few more centuries, but for billions, maybe even trillions of years.
So after all that, this huge cosmic journey, it kind of leaves us with one last really big question. When we look at this enormous ladder in front of us, and we see humanity still way down on the bottom rung, what's our first step? What's the very next thing we have to do to even begin that climb?